p.m., it's time for us to switch to the other conversation lined up for your listening pleasure. And for 4 o'clock, our conversation, I want us to look at the banking sector. So this is not the first time, by the way, we're looking at this very conversation. The ATMs, the automated teller machines versus the point of sales machines. Now, is it that we in Nigeria do not understand how these machines should be used, or have we intentionally corrupted how these machines function? Because some people are now complaining, and it's not just in River State, all across the country, that the ATMs almost never now, I should put it that way, almost never have cash inside of them, but the point of sale operators always have money to give. Is it Nigerians who have made it possible? Is it the banking sector that has allowed it? Is it CBN policies? I mean, are we now buying the naira? Does it make it all what's the word now? Does it make it all legal now that the point of sale operators are doing it? So to help me have the conversation, he was with us some 9 days ago. I'm talking about the chairman, the Chartered Institute of Bankers, Njoku Nkwachukwu. It's good to have you on the show, and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kalada. Good evening. Good afternoon, listeners.
Yeah, good afternoon. So let's start with the basics. Maybe because I'm confused. Maybe because I'm the confused one. What really is the difference between a point of sales machine and the automated teller machine? Can you please tell us?
Okay, quickly. The thing is that an ATM or the automated teller machine is an independent. It operates like an independent teller. As you go to a bank, you see a human teller that can receive cash from you and pay. That is the concept that is behind the creation of the ATM. So you have some ATMs that can dispense cash. Some can also receive cash, depending on how it's being configured. Why the PoS, banks use them. Some banks have them over the counter too. Probably if some people are unable to withdraw from the ATM, they can take cash over the counter through the PoS or be paid by a human teller. Or outside, there are PoS operators that are licensed by banks. They give them the machine. They are after proper documentation with the bank, and those people have a special account where they run through, by servicing members of the public that need cash from time to time, and they make money from it by charging them some token.
So now this is where my confusion. What I do understand that is the function of the POS is to enable transactions, to pay for an item without having physical cash, because the idea, of course, was to go cashless, right? And that's why POS was introduced. Am I wrong? Or I might not also seen this other part you've explained where, people are given special accounts, profiled, and giving cash so that they can help be tellers, individual tellers to the, mass public.
Yes, you are partially you are correct, but there is what we call financial inclusion, the banking system, in order to promote financial inclusion, looking at the geography of Nigeria and the level of development. What they did was to release the POS machines to people that can in the remote communities where you may not have physical bank, and where people are not all that literate, so that they can easily service those people. It's just to promote financial inclusion. That is why you are seeing it in the remote areas. But today, it's all over the place, even in the town, everywhere. It is, yeah, because people have kind of abused the process, where a situation where you go to the bank, to the POS, or even on a weekend or a public holiday, and you are unable to get cash anywhere. You go to a POS operator, they will tell you 10,000 is the charge is 300, which is very exploitative.
Is it 300? Is it 300? I thought it was 500 naira.
That is the challenge in Nigeria. Is most people don't obey regulations. They just capitalize in situations to exploit the members of the public. When they look at you and they know that you are desperate to have the cash, they can tell you 500 naira for 10,000. And you need that cash to sort out yourself. You just have to collect it and things like that. But generally, people take 200 naira per 10,000 and like that. So that is just it.
Okay. Now, so from what I understand, from what you just said, is that for financial inclusion, POS operators are supposed to be in remote areas, but we see them littered all around, urban areas. Can we then say that the POS operators who are operating in urban areas are flouting the law and basically should be arrested or something like that?
Not really, because it was not so written. But the brain behind because the usage of physical cash. That is the brain behind it. For people to leverage on various online platforms to consolidate their financial transactions. But they also know that Nigeria is still developing. Most of our communities are not strong in terms of IT connectivity, and the level of literacy is also very low. So especially financial literacy, even amongst the people that have gone to school, financial literacy is very low. So they have to do what we call inclusion to ensure that people participate in the system. People are not denied, or people are not made to suffer, because they want financial services. That is why you see all this. Agency banking was promoted and some other things. That is why also that is the idea behind microfinance banks that came from community banks and like all that, just to ensure that the remote places, they are served and served very well. Okay. But when Nigerians know that, yes, this is profitable, or we can exploit this to our advantage, they will now generalize it. Okay. That is just it. But there is no law that says that if you are running a POS, even by the side of government house, that you should be arrested.
Okay. All right. So yes. Let's focus on the allegation that banks intentionally refuse to load ATMs because they've got some links with POS operators. What can you say about that allegation?
No, that is a lie. It's a big lie. There is no such intention. Let me just explain something to our listeners. Banks get cash from two sources. One, from customers' deposits. That is cash that customers bring to the bank to put into their accounts.
Okay.
Then two, from the Central Bank of Nigeria. So if banks receive, for instance, if a bank branch receives through their head office system, receives in a day 10 million naira, and they dispense everything. Maybe put 3 or 4 or 5 million in the ATM, and over the counter, the remaining is gone. The bank cannot manufacture cash. No bank branch can produce or print cash. So you will see that the ATM in that branch will not have cash. And customers these days don't bring cash into the bank branches, because the customers themselves sell the cash. You go to a supermarket, so supermarkets, what they now do is they run their supermarket, they run a POS
cashback
center.
Yeah.
at the same time. So they will collect cash from members of the public that come to buy beverages and things like that, and other items. And at the same time, they will sell those cash to people that come to withdraw money through the PoS. So that is the thing. You see them making abnormal profits. Making profit from the sales of the item they are trading on, making profit from the cash that they received free from members of the public, which is an abuse. So you see that this is how this thing runs, and the banks now are left without cash from the members, from their customers. So customers don't, if you do a research, you find out that not up to 20% of bank cost, I think not up to 10% of bank cost of any bank branch customer brings cash these days. So there is no way a bank can have cash to put in the ATM, because it's the cash that they receive from customers that they should put in the ATM. If they exhaust the one from the CBN, there is nothing the bank branch can do. But until they receive another one. And that is why you see that you go to the ATM and there is no cash.
But like you've just said now, let's say a bank has 10 million naira. Now that 10 million naira is usually given to POS operators or even to politicians and big men. And that's what some people, even on social media, are currently arguing. What do you say about that?
Definitely, they are not given to POS operators. Yes, we have what we call there may be some special customers, big time customers that makes up a branch that may request for favor from maybe the managers of that branch, and no manager wants to lose a big ticket customer. So, in order to satisfy that customer, they can give out 1 or 2 million. It's possible. It can happen in order to retain that valued customer, that customer that is making the branch to run. So that bet to the POS, I don't think that they give to POS. And if they do, it's unethical. If any branch head of operations or cash officer collude with the POS operators and sell cash to them, is very unethical. And if any of them is caught, is termination. That is the consequence. It's termination. If it's proved that any head of operations or cash officer, or there is a collusion between any of them, including the branch manager, is termination. Because no bank management will tolerate that.
Now, Mr. Njoku, the reason why I asked that question, or the reasons, 2 reasons. 1, POS operators always have cash. Number 2, the people who sell money at parties, at weddings, they always have bundles of cash as well. New, what do you call it now? New means, always. Never go to parties, go to weddings, go to they always do have cash, but ATMs don't.
Yes, Mr. Kalada. As I said, it's possible, but it is unethical. If any bank operations manager or cash officer or even the branch manager makes such arrangement and starts selling cash to POS operators for their own personal benefits, is unethical, and if they are caught, is termination. So what I'm saying, it should not be said as if it is a practice that every bank is now doing, that it is something that is acceptable in the banking system. No. If such a thing happens, which this is Nigeria, it's likely to happen, but it's not popular. It's not a norm in the banking system that people, or let me say that the managers of a branch should be selling cash for their own benefit, because there is no profit line in the bank, in bank's balance financial statement, in the bank's financial statement that says that we see income from sales of cash to POS operators. It's not there. And that is unethical.
All right.
So if it's proved, I know that the CBN will do something drastic about it. If it is proved and traced to any bank branch that they are selling cash.
Okay.
But to mitigate this, since there is this allegation, the CBN should now have that responsibility to set up a system that will kind of investigate this. They can pretend to be POS operators to go and negotiate.
Mr. Njoku, I would have to pause you. I do have a commercial. You already know that. By 25 minutes gone past the hour, we have commercials. So when we come back, I would ask you some more questions. So please do stay tuned.
All right, thank you.
5 minutes gone past 4. It's good to have you still on the other side of the radio. Remember, the frequency is 92.3 Nigeria Info, and I remain Kala Dakurubatibo. Good afternoon to you. This is Hard Facts, and with me on the show is the chairman, Chartered Institute of Bankers here in River State, and he goes by the name Njoku Nkwachukwu. Welcome back on the show. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right. So before the break, you were telling us how disciplinary measures will be taken against banks and bankers who operate in you call it illicit manner because it's against the ethics. It's unethical, you say. However, are POS operators supposed to charge money when someone uses their what's it called now, debit cards? Let's say I'm paying for something, am I supposed to be charged any amount?
Yes, it's a business. The person is spending his time, has a shop, has a space where he's rendering the service to people, is incurring costs there. So there should be some income to cover such costs. But what we're saying is that it should not be arbitrary. Should not be so as to exploit the members of the public. Yeah. When people were charging or taking 200 or less for 10,000, I don't think people were complaining.
No, I'm not talking about cashback. And I apologize for interrupting you. I'm saying I go to a mall, for instance, or a shopping plaza, and I want to buy, what's the thing I want to buy now? Let's say a bottle of water, and I give my card, my debit card. Am I supposed to be charged an extra fee for the bottled water because I'm using my card?
No.
Okay.
No. That is any institution or business or supermarket or wherever that does that is a criminal act. It's like stealing from the person.
Okay.
Yes, it's not acceptable. That is just to make the persons, for instance, let's say a supermarket. That is to make that supermarket's transactions seamless. He's taking the supermarket is moving their cash direct to the bank by debiting a customer that came to patronize them and moving the cash directly to their bank. Ordinarily, assuming the customer came with cash, and maybe they have many customers in that particular day, they will incur costs of cash movement to the bank. But because people now use their ATM cards and they use it on the PoS machine, they are moving the cash direct to their bank, and they should not be charged. In fact, the concept did not make any provision for anyone to be charged extra when you buy, for instance, you buy soup or you buy beverages or anything from the supermarket.
But you get the operators tell you that it's the CBN, or is it the bank now, charges them for every time they use the POS, so they have to transfer that fee, to the customer, the consumer.
Mr. Kalada, as I said, if they do that, if I'm the one concerned, I will take it up with that particular institution, that business center, and I must make sure that I recover that money, because there is nothing like that. When you have your money, your personal money, as in Canada, you take 1 million naira to your bank and put it there cash. If you go there to withdraw, the bank will charging you some money for services they are rendering.
True.
So there is no way you should be transferring that to customers. That is the one you should bear. That should go to your profit and loss account, and not to transfer it to the customers as extra charge. The best thing the business should do is, if they are selling the item 5,000 naira, then they can make it 5,100 and flat. And when the customers come to the shop or area, you say, this item is 5,100 naira. If the customer wants to buy, he will buy. If he doesn't like it, he will go to where he will get it cheaper. So that is the best way. Instead of saying, okay, this item goes for 5,000 naira, and because you are paying with your ATM card, you pay extra 100 naira. That is criminal.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's quickly ask one last question. I do understand you're in a meeting, so I can let you go. The question is, you were not too long ago. You were explaining that for people who do cashback, they should collect some fee for the cashback that they're doing. The question is that not seen as selling money? Because they are not a financial institution. Is that not seen as them? So for every time I take 1,000 naira from a POS operator and I pay maybe 100 naira fee charge, have I not bought that money? Have I not, purchased the naira?
Okay, that may be how somebody may see it, but I don't see it that way. Kalada, assuming you are a POS operator and your location is, let me say, Akwukabi in a Chi local government, or Ebeke or Nguba or Ibudu in a Chi local government, and you have your cash there, you have your POS, and somebody moves from his house to your center and takes 10,000 naira, and you charge the person 200 naira. That covers your services, because for the person to get cash ordinarily, the person should be coming towards a Igrita or Rumokoro. So you have even saved the person more money, more expenses. So it's not like buying cash. Where it is exploitative is where you not charge abnormally, to the customers. You make them to spend beyond what is reasonable. That is why I would now say that this is exploitative. And as I said, the brain behind this POS is to promote financial inclusion, move it to remote communities where financial services are scanty or not in existence, and so that they will know that this is what is happening today, that we are no more in those dark ages.
All right then.
Yes.
So I do not know if you still want to, you told me earlier you had a meeting, but if you still want to stay,
yes,
it's fine. Are you staying or are you leaving?
I actually have a meeting now.
All right, then. Thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate. All right. I would now have to focus on you, the listener. I want to get your thoughts. I really want to know how you feel about the situation in the country. We've got some understanding after listening to the explanations from my guest who's just left. Talking about the reason why banks don't usually have cash, because we like to what's the word now? We like to hoard the naira. Sometimes we are too lazy to go to the bank, so we use the POS operator. So it's not entirely the bank's fault, he has said, because of course you and I refuse to go to the bank in halls to do transactions these days. So the question then is, which do you prefer? Because this debate, for most part of this week has been on, and the debate has been, why don't we see the cash, the naira, in ATMs, but the POS operators always never run out of cash. Always never. 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003, 0817 923 0007. Now look at it this way. ATMs can be used 24 hours if there is network service, right? If there is service, you can go to the ATM 3 o'clock in the morning. You could go 11 p.m. at night, and you will get cash if the service is working and it has cash inside, right? If you want to use a POS operator in the deep of the night, in the wee hours of the morning, how will that work? Another question. But I've got Alize from Omuma, and I'll start with him. Alize, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, man of the people, according to your guest, if the reason for POS machine was for financial inclusion, most especially in rural areas, I will agree with him. I said yes. But this matter of discourse is an issue of a great concern. Canada, some POS agents are physically rich more than some of the bank will have. And I made both to say this.
Do you have proof? Alozi, I always ask, do you have proof?
I want to share my experience with you.
Okay.
Canada, last week, I went to my branch, one of the banking locations. They are going to NTA Road. I will not mention the name of the bank.
I think I already know, but go ahead.
I went to that bank and I was demanding for some reasonable physical cash. The woman and the teller told me that they cannot permit me to withdraw such amount of money. But I walked down near close to the POS, the share fence with Salvation Ministry there.
You already called the bank, by the way, just so you know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I've not called them. I said their ATM machine is close to one Salvation Ministry.
You have already, once again, but go ahead.
I saw somebody who is doing POS. I withdraw that money without any delay. So Canada, you see that some top share bankers and some of the bank officials are prodding this. They are aiding and abetting this particular banking operation. And we must raise concern. It's very, very embarrassing.
All right, then.
I am not against the POS operation, no, because that has created so many jobs. But what I'm saying in essence is this. In as much that they are selling this money, they should also provide their own services by loading money in their ATM machine.
All right.
So that those people who doesn't have money to pay for charges can go to the ATM machine and withdraw money.
Alozi, thank you.
I don't like what we are suffering.
I've got to move on now.
Because of personal aggrandizement.
All right, then.
So unfortunate, thank you.
All right, I've got Noah. Noah's call has dropped, but please, if you can call back, do call back. Let's listen or read some messages now. Let's start with this one. So it says, going to the bank, a bank's ATM is a waste of time these days because they are just there, no money. But I think some bank officials sell the cash to POS people and make money. Most bank officials have people doing POS business for them, so the cash doesn't stay in the ATM. I suspect the bank insiders use the cash meant for ATMs for their businesses. Justice Ori from Omudioga. Okay. This says, please ask your guests why POS operators always in possession of cash, but the ATM machines in the banks don't have cash. Malachi from Port Harcourt, I think I asked that question already. This one says, before now, to get a POS used to be a problem. All those POS littered everywhere. Is it not banks that open them? Our problem in this country is government and banks. Okay. This one says, the POS agents go to banks to collect any cash available. At the ATMs, these POS agents go with several ATM cards and withdraw as many times as is allowed, thereby emptying them before the customers arrive. Wonder how this ATM issue will be resolved eventually. Eregoba IC. Eregoba, thank you very much. Let's come here now. This one says, how are you doing today? Happy weekend to you. Okay. You're asking if you can get a number. I'll look for it and get it across to you. But let's look at this one. This one says, filling stations do this a lot. If one pays using a debit card, they deduct a certain amount, so it means these filling stations are committing a crime. I hope the management of that filling station close to the Federal High Court Station Road can hear this and desist from that act. Godwin from Chino, you've been told to hold whoever is in charge accountable because it is an illegal activity. I've got Lebari from Buri. Lebari, welcome. What is on your mind?
My brilliant brother, Canada, I greet you.
I greet you as well, my brother, Lebari.
Well, it's unfortunate that the chairman, Chapter Institute of Banker, is not online with us. Because if you can also observe with me, who are the people entitled to get this means from the bank? I don't know, we customer, I don't know how long you went to the bank last and they issue means on that counter.
I hardly use cash. I would not lie to you. I like to do my transactions online. I know the banks have been messing up recently, but I like to do my transactions online.
So what my question maybe if you can also get across to them, who are the people entitled to receive mints? Because since the introduction of this POS of 18, very difficult before they issue mints on that counter.
All right.
I really want to find out that question from the chairman.
All right.
And then you are talking about maybe all these POS having mints. How do they get it?
Okay.
If not that they bought it from the bank,
Okay.
either the bank manager, the bank, they don't even follow it up.
Okay.
Because from Rumukushi down to Garrison, just go there now. You will see mint in whatever amount you want to receive. How do they get it?
All right, Levari from Buri, thank you. I've got Michael. Oh, Michael from Trader Park. If you can call back, please do. I really want to talk with you. But let's see. Let's do this one. This says, what you should know is that one is agency banking and the other is point of sale for the agency. Any card that goes into the machine is being charged, but the POS is not charged. Benny Brownie, you've just confused me. What do you mean by the card is being charged? But you always hear them say, "Oh, they're charging us every time we use this machine." And some would tell you, "Oh, we cannot take money as low as anything less than 500 naira. We cannot take." I mean, you must have had these experiences, right? Am I the only one? But let's come here. This one says most of the POS are owned and financed by bank staff. Emmanuel from Buri with that one. And this one says, obviously, the bank officials usually sell cash to POS and is highly condemnable. Christian Williams from Igboiche. This one says, I think the banks want more electronic transactions. Most Nigerians in the street, or on the street, I think you meant to say, prefer cash. That's why you see POS agents scrambling for cash purchase for their business. I don't have issues with my banks getting petty cash in means. I encourage more electronic transactions. I mean, for Ernest in Port Harcourt, okay? You can still call me, by the way. I still want to take a few calls, maybe, for the next 4 minutes, thereabout. Let's get your thoughts on this issue. POS or ATMs, which do you prefer? Which? Because I hear you're also the cause of the problem. 08179230002, 08179230003, and 08179230007. These are the call numbers, and I am waiting to hear from you. WhatsApp number, I've got a couple of messages. I'll read them shortly. 0809-030-6416. Okay, let's look at this one. Alex Sukari says, today at one of the banks, I was told I cannot get more than 20,000 naira daily. These acts are deliberate to frustrate the economy. They don't see what their actions, they don't see rather that their actions kill, I think you meant to say, kill the country. Sukari from John Kramer, thank you very much. And now let's look at this one. It says, the same way you and I struggle to get cash is the same way banks struggle to access cash. There is absolute no incentive for people to lodge money in the bank again when they can just walk across the street and sell to POS operators. So is it not illegal? We are also part of the illicit action why ATMs don't have, cash inside of them. So says your guest was just being professional and isn't totally telling the truth. Out of 1,000 times at the ATMs, you'll only get cash once. So when you consider the transport fare from your location to a bank, you have no choice than to patronize these extortionists called POS operators. Simply goodness from Malachi calls them extortionists. I don't know if you agree. I don't know. Is that what it is? But let's now go back to the phone lines. I guess the call screener is finding it difficult to take your calls. I'm going to take it myself. Okay. I think she's trying one more time. So I will wait and go back to the text message portal. It just says, I can't remember the last time I used an ATM. It's disheartening that the ATMs scarcely have any cash. This is my hypothesis. The banks are deliberately refusing to load their machines and selling cash to POS operators. This is corruption, Donny. GTB and Fidelity Banks at Location Junction, Baba, and notoriously guilty of this. Alright, he called the names. I read it out. Okara from Igruta is calling. Let's hear what this person thinks. Okara, welcome. What is on your mind? Please tell me.
Hello, good evening, Kala.
Yeah, greetings to you.
Most people are talking about the banks. The issue is not all about the banks.
Okay.
Even churches sell their cash to those POS operators.
Oh, really?
It's not all about the banks.
Okay. Oh, I can hear you. You've just brought in the church. I'm listening.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Most churches, instead of returning their cash to the banks, they will sell it over to POS operators. They don't only banks that are committing those crimes. Interesting.
All right. Thank you very much, Okara from Igruta. I've got George. George is calling from Iwofe. George, welcome. Tell me, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Kalawa, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. When you are getting his pocket, he said if you go to any supermarket and you buy something for 10,000 and they charge you 10,100 naira.
Or even 10,001 naira. Even 10,001 naira is illegal. Yeah.
It's a criminal offense.
Yeah, he said so.
But if you go to BMH and they give you prescription, everything you want to pay, they will have 100 naira outside the list.
Have you asked why? Maybe it's for a particular charge.
They say that the person, the person who have the contract, it is money. I said, why not write that 200 naira on top of the receipt? So that we know that we are paying 3,100.
Yeah.
We write 3,000 and collect 3,100. That is fraud.
So you say where is it again? River State University.
BMH.
Okay, BMH. Okay.
Teaching hospital.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. All right. I will investigate. We'll look into it. Probably we'll speak with the Ministry of Health. But let's listen finally to Chike, who's calling from somewhere in Port Harcourt. Chike, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear.
If you do business in Port Harcourt, not in Port Harcourt, if you do business in Nigeria and you use POS as a business person, you find out that there are a lot of challenges with that. Sometimes you get a chargeback claim in your mail saying the customer bought something of that. You should give them evidence that you raised the money or you didn't receive the money. And if you don't do that within 4 hours, credit the customer back the money. That's the person that has complained. And when you get to the bank to get statements, these POS statements tell you that their system
that there's what? That
their system is down.
Oh, okay.
That portal for generating a POS receipt is not working. Sorry, POS transactions is not working. And when you don't respond, after 24 hours, they will debit you, no matter the amount. Debit you and give it back to the customer. It means that anybody can just go and do one transaction, whether it's successful, it still go back to the bank.
That's another angle. That's a new angle to that. I've not had that complaint before.
Yes, that's your guess.
All right.
And if you don't give them evidence, snap this one and that, they will credit the customer that made that complaint.
All right.
It has happened to me several times.
All right.
That was the reason why,
okay.
Or except for some of these fintech POS, that everything is seamless. But if it's for the normal bank, the traditional bank, I don't use their POS.
All right. Thank you, Chike. Chike, I've got to go. My time is almost up. But this one says, the banker you interviewed is economical with the truth. POS operators are in collaboration with bankers. How do the operators get the mint monies they give out? Still with that one. And I'm racing against time. The unnecessary selling of cash is purely criminal. Fidelis Elimua from Njoku calls it selling of cash like I did. This one says, it is disheartening that banks would, whose primary duty is to release cash and no longer having cash, rather POS stands now dish out cash to customers. I don't think I can still operate ATM machines because it's been long I assessed it. Where you go now with that confession there? This one says, good evening, Canada. Those that are responsible for selling of the cash are as follows: 1, filling station; 2, supermarket; 3, pharmacy; 4, aboki that sells suya. Not only banks. Calvin Obile from Romokoro with that one. I've got to step on the brakes. I do have a commercial break. Yeah. When I do come back, I hope I can. It will be time for another conversation. I don't think I have enough time. There will be first the news update, and after that, it will be time for another conversation. To stay tuned.
Hard facts